Long ago, more than 2,000 years ago, the world was very different. There were no cars, no phones, no electricity, and no internet. People traveled by walking, riding donkeys or horses, or sailing in small wooden boats. Roads were rough and dangerous. Nights were dark. Life was hard for most people. At that time, a very powerful empire ruled much of the world. This empire was called the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was huge. It covered many lands that we now call Italy, Spain, France, England, Greece, and parts of Africa and the Middle East. Roman soldiers marched everywhere. Roman laws controlled cities and villages. Roman leaders wanted peace, order, and power. The Romans believed in many gods. They believed one god controlled war, another controlled love, another controlled farming, and another controlled the sea. They built big temples for these gods. They also believed their emperor was very important. Many Romans believed the emperor was chosen by the gods and should be honored like a god. Around this same time, far away from Rome, in a small land called Judea, a baby was born. His name was Jesus. Jesus grew up poor. He did not live in a palace. He did not own much. He walked from town to town, teaching people. Jesus taught very simple but powerful things. He taught people to love one another. He taught people to forgive, even when it was hard. He taught people to help the poor, the sick, and the lonely. He taught people to be kind, even to enemies. He spoke about one God who loved all people, not just rich or powerful ones. Many people listened to Jesus. Poor people, sick people, and forgotten people felt hope when they heard him speak. But some leaders did not like Jesus. They felt afraid of his teachings. They thought he would cause trouble. In the end, Jesus was killed. After Jesus died, his followers were very sad. They cried and felt afraid. But they believed something very special. They believed that Jesus rose again. They believed he was still alive in spirit. Because of this belief, they felt strong again. They wanted to tell others what Jesus taught. These followers were called Christians. At first, there were only a few of them. They were not rich. They were not powerful. They had no big churches, no beautiful buildings, and no armies. They met quietly in small homes, in hidden rooms, or deep underground where no one could see them. Some of Jesus' followers traveled far away to share his teachings. One of the most important was a man named Paul. Paul traveled long distances by foot and by boat. He faced storms, hunger, and danger. He visited many places in Europe like Greece and Rome. Everywhere he went, he told people about Jesus. When people believed his message, they formed small Christian groups. These groups felt like families. They prayed together. They shared food. They helped widows, orphans, and the sick. They believed everyone was equal in God's eyes. But life was very hard for early Christians. The Roman leaders did not like Christians. Christians refused to worship Roman gods. They refused to call the emperor a god. This made Roman leaders angry and afraid. They thought Christians were disloyal. They thought Christians were dangerous. Because of this, Christians were punished. Some Christians were arrested, some were beaten, some were thrown into dark prisons, some were killed in public places to scare others. Sometimes they were blamed for fires, sickness, or bad luck, even when they did nothing wrong. Christians learned to live carefully. They spoke in secret. They used signs, like the shape of a fish, to recognize one another. They whispered prayers. Parents taught their children quietly at night. Even with fear all around them, Christians kept helping others. During sickness and plagues, when many people ran away, Christians stayed to care for the sick. They cleaned wounds, shared food, and comforted the dying. People began to notice their kindness. Slowly, very slowly, more people began to listen. Some Romans saw how Christians lived and asked questions. They saw love instead of hate, forgiveness instead of revenge, hope instead of fear. Little by little, the Christian faith spread across Europe. Years passed, then decades, then hundreds of years. At one time, a Roman emperor named Constantine came to power. Constantine had a great battle to fight. According to stories, he saw a sign in the sky and believed the Christian God helped him win. After this, Constantine stopped the harsh punishments against Christians. Christians were finally allowed to worship openly. They could build churches. They could sing songs out loud. They could pray without fear. Over time, Christianity grew stronger in Europe. Churches were built. Leaders called bishops guided people. Monks lived quiet lives, copying books by hand so knowledge would not be lost. Christian ideas shaped laws, schools, and daily life. But even as Christianity grew, life was not always easy. There were arguments about beliefs, there were wars, there were mistakes made by people who forgot Jesus' teachings of love and kindness. History was not perfect. Still, the story of early Christians is a story of courage. It is a story of poor people standing strong without weapons. It is a story of love surviving fear. It is a story of hope spreading slowly, one heart at a time. From small hidden rooms to great stone churches, from whispered prayers to open songs, early Christians helped shape Europe's history. They believed love was stronger than hate and kindness was stronger than power, and that belief changed the world. Thank you for listening to this calm and gentle story. The past teaches us about love, courage, and hope. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another peaceful history story.